So, thank you for that segue moment. So, Keith's church, he's a minister down the road in New Hackensack Reformed Church in Wappingers Falls, New York. It's about 3 hours south. And Chuck and I were there at a service, and of course Keith was like, "You have to meet this woman. She's totally playing a bigger game. You have to meet her." And I'm like, "Okay," and he sort of, shuffles me over. And so I want to bring to the stage right now this woman who, out of your own story, which they're going to hear in a moment, you're doing remarkable work in your community. So I'm going to invite you up, ladies and gentlemen, Krista Jones. Thank you, sweetie. So her work, and she's going to tell you more about it, but it's Sparrow's Nest is the name of it. And I'm going to let you tell the story. And any way I can support along the way, you let me know, slide moment or whatever you need.
Okay.
All right, thank you for coming.
Oh, thank
Can
you.
they hear you on the mic? Miking happening? Okay, we'll just go.
Okay.
Welcome to my world.
Well, thank you very much for having me. My name is Krista Jones, and this is sort of a gulp moment for me. I was invited to come here, and I was shocked because, I didn't really know what the bigger game was, and I didn't know how in the world I could be playing it. I think my microphone might be working. Hello? Okay. Sorry.
No worries.
I didn't know what it was. I wasn't sure how in the world I could be playing it. But I realized relatively quickly after reading the book that there were so many things in this book that just resonates with what I was doing and had no idea that I was doing. I have a charity called Sparrow's Nest, and it was formed about 2 years ago. I get very emotional too. After a friend, it's going to be a long 30 minutes. After a friend was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, which is ironic because she had been heavy all of her life and had been battling being heavy. And she said, "You know what, I'm sick of being heavy. I'm going to get the lap band procedure done." And she did. And she started losing tremendous amounts of weight. And she started complaining about her bowels and her stomach. And the doctor said, "It's the lap band, it's the lap band, it's the lap band." So a year later, when they found she was stage 4 colon, it was too late. It wasn't the lap band. And I think last night about, the bullying stories, and I think how all she wanted was to get thin and to be accepted. And ultimately, that could be part of what killed her because it masked something else that was so much more important than being 30 pounds overweight. So when she was sick, I was devastated. And her battle was so private, she didn't want help, which was very hard for me to accept because I was her friend. And what do you mean I can't help you? She had 3 small babies. So I'm from the South, and in the South, we cook. So we cook when we're happy, we cook when we're sad, we cook if you break your leg, if you get a good grade. We're some big women down there. We like to cook, we like to eat. So I started making meals for the family and just dropping them off. So I wasn't reinventing the wheel because that's just what we do. We have, food trains. And I saw that it was helping her, and it was inspiring to see that it was one less stress on her plate. Because, in reality, each and every one of you in this room is a caregiver, or if you are not, you're here because it's something you want to be. You want to care for someone or help someone to be a better them, which is the same when you're a mom or a dad, and you're taking care of your children. Your role now is to be that caregiver, so the last person that's being taken care of is you. And when you're sick, you're not thinking of yourself and you're not thinking, I need to be laying in bed and I need to be getting better. You're thinking, I have 3 small babies that are not eating. And if I don't feed them, I'm taking them to McDonald's for months and months as I'm going through chemo. And now I'm taking them somewhere that's not healthy. And now I don't have the money to take them because I have a 20% copayment. So I'm stuck. So when she became sick, she was very spiritual. And she knew that she wanted to be where she needed to be because she knew that her journey was going to end. And she told me once, Krista, there are no coincidences in life. Whatever your spiritual beliefs are, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, there's no coincidences. It comes together for a reason, and you can either look at that reason or you can coincidence it away. And, she was telling me a story about how she was in the last weeks of her life, and she knew she was, and she went to the grocery store, and she parked, and she was just sobbing, and next to her, an elderly couple parked, and she just saw their bumper sticker, and it was a verse out of Matthew. So she said, I just took my Bible, and I looked it up, and it said, be not afraid. And she said, that was my moment. And I said, wow, that's so amazing, because all my life, I have worked in media for Clear Channel Communications as a disc jockey on a morning show down in my area in the Hudson Valley. And I had done that for about 15 years. And I had seen so much because, we get to see so many situations that we on the air get to help people at Christmas time, giving people things. And 9/11 hit, and I had to go to the city, and I was 8 months pregnant with my first child, and I was the news director, and I had to be down there, and I had to be reporting on this. And it was that defining moment for me that changed everything. And I said, I've got to do something. This is not what I'm here to do. So when she said that years later, I just started devising a plan. And ultimately, she lost her battle to cancer and left behind her 3 small children, which are my children's ages. And I actually brought my children. If you're wondering why there are children around listening to flipping off jokes and stuff, girls, can you please stand? They're out of school today because they've sacrificed a lot these last 2 or 3 years. They haven't had any vacations because, mommy has been pouring her heart and soul into something else. So at Kathy's funeral, one of my very close friends came over to me and said, we have to talk. We've been keeping something from you because we know that you've been taking care of Kathy. And I knew, and I said, you know what, I don't want to talk. Whatever you need to tell me, I am not ready to hear it. And she said, we have to talk to you because I'm sick. And she was diagnosed with stage 3 lymphoma. So between Kathy's death to a matter of 6 weeks to 2 months later, I had 4 friends diagnosed with various types of cancer. So for me, that was my coincidence. That was my moment when the universe came together and said, you are looking for more to do with your life. Here it is. I'm putting it here for you. You can receive it or you can walk away. So I went home and I said to my very loving and supportive husband, I'm going to quit my paying job. We are going to take all of our money out of our 401k, and we are now going to build this monstrosity of a health department approved kitchen on the back of our home. So he went and had a few drinks, maybe more than one, and came back and said, okay, we're in. And, that was it. And Rick was talking last night, and I was back there. Anybody that was probably sitting behind me thought I was a crazy person because he was saying so many things that I was shaking my head to because this was the most frightening thing I have ever done. I mean, I'm taking everything we've ever saved. I'm quitting anything that
Thank you for that
gives me any
segue
type
moment.
of
So
financial
Keith's
relief.
church, which is
I'm going to hopefully sustain something that I don't even know what I'm doing. And, I need to move forward. So for me, it was one of the scariest times of my life. So I started the process. And there's a lot to the process when you own your own business. Even though it's a charity, it's a business. There's incorporation, there's 501c3s, there's all this stuff that I was doing wrong. I was sending stuff to the government, they were sending it back. It was just amazing how hard and how many obstacles there were. And at one point I just stopped, and I would put my kids on the bus and I would go back to bed. And I was depressed for like 3 months. I wasn't eating, I wasn't showering. I was showering some, but not probably as much as I should. I was honestly just in a state of depression, and I just kept saying, Kathy, I've failed. I've failed so miserably at this. And then one day I got up because, when you don't take care of yourself, I said, I'm going to the gym because I'm feeling bad for myself, and I have sick people out there that can't even get out of bed. I'm going to the gym. So I went to the gym, and I'm on the treadmill in the gym, and I am listening to a movie. There was a movie on in the movie room. And the movie was called Sparkle with Jordan Sparks and Whitney Houston. And there was this scene in the movie where Whitney Houston is singing at a funeral. And the song that she was singing was the song at Kathy's funeral. And it's called His Eye is on the Sparrow, which basically states, wherever you are, I got this. I got you, I've got this, I'm watching you, you're okay. So the lady next to me, as I started sobbing, might have called the medics, I'm not sure, but I'm on the treadmill going, I get it. She's like, should I call someone, anyone at all that you need? And from that day forward, I didn't look back. So I just started fundraisers, and I started raising the money, and we started growing strong. So my girlfriend said, well, what are we doing? And I said, we are feeding every person that has cancer in 100-mile radius. And my friends were like, hold on. You have to sustain it. You have to sustain it. Because if you start too big and then you have to say no, what have you done? You've just crushed everything you wanted to do. So I said, let's start with moms. Because nothing against any of you males in the room, but sometimes I say, that women's lib killed us. Because, 30, 40, 50 years ago when we wanted it all, we got it all. So now we work 40 or 50 hours a week. We take our children everywhere they've got to go. We keep our house clean. We're supposed to cook, and we should cook healthy, and if we can cook organic, and all these things that we need to do. And if we drop the ball, now we feel like we're a failure. And we shouldn't, but we do, because we feel that everything we've asked for, we should be able to do, and we should be able to do it successfully without help. And moms are stubborn. We think we have this. So we decided to start with moms. And we went from 3 moms to about 35 moms, so about 170, 180 people our first year. And this whole time I was saying to myself, yeah, but what about dads? It wasn't enough. I was very happy that it was about moms and about women, but what was there for dads? A lot of times, I think men sometimes get the shaft, they're left out. And I know in my own house, if my own husband was sick, we would lose everything. He's the breadwinner in my home. So if he was sick, our entire world would be devastated. So my first year, a lot of people told me I couldn't do it. When we were out there trying to raise money, we didn't have any business backing at all. I had people saying, well, that's crazy. It's not going to work. So we decided, well, let's build a kitchen on the of our house. It's a good start because that will save us a couple $1,000 a month in rent because, we're closer to the city. It's not cheap down there. It's convenient. I'm able to do it out of the back of my home. So we started there, and we started growing it, and we got bigger and bigger, and I saw this event that goes on at Disney, and it is a half marathon, and I thought, I could do that. So I had a girlfriend whose son was sick, so we went down to Florida, just me, because I thought, well, 42, chubby girl, like I should probably do it first before I bring it back here. So I went down and did it, and I brought it back, and I said, this is how we're going to raise money. Who wants to go with me to Florida and run 13 miles through Disney World in order for us to get funded? And we had 50 people sign up. So our first year, those 50 people raised $150,000 last year, and that built our kitchen. We had an amazing contractor that heard about us, and his wife actually was sick, and I was feeding her, but he didn't tell me who he was at first. He just started building. And then I found out about a month into the story when I busted him, because when I brought the food to his wife and his truck was at the home, and I went, oh. So he helped us build the kitchen. So we put a huge kitchen on the back of our house. But the point is, some of you in this room might be at a stage where you are looking at something that seems so huge and so overwhelming. And it was, and I just did it in baby steps. And I remember the satisfaction of going in to meet this man in Millbrook. A lot of people move to Millbrook in our area. It is a very elite area, and there's just a lot of celebrities that have homes from the city. And I remember going in to meet him because somebody said, you need to meet this guy. He will give you a grant. And I remember him sitting down with me a couple months ago saying, well, I can give you money, but, I'm really worried as a business owner because how are you going to sustain this? I mean, how much did you possibly raise last year? 20 or 30,000? I mean, it's your first year. And I said, well, we raised 408,000. And that shut him up. And, this year we're bringing 170 people to Disney World. So they will raise 600,000. And next year, all of you can go too, if you want to talk to me about this later. So they will raise over $600,000 this year, because sometimes you have to find a different way to do things. Sometimes people are tapped out and businesses are skeptical, and you're trying to get something off the ground and nobody knows about you, and they're really not sure that you can sustain it. So sometimes you just have to create a positive spin on things in order to make it work, and you have to reassess yourself. And Rick said last night, a lot of times we are our own worst enemy. I knew I had to speak to you today, and 10 minutes before I'm speaking, I'm saying, I don't even know if my story is going to bring any value because I just listened to all these wonderful people with food and disabilities and I just listened to all these amazing stories. And it's so amazing that even at 43 years old, I'm still looking in the mirror and seeing the negative. At 43 years old. But I have to say, all of these different workshops and that book and everything, are a great way to break what we consider normal. So I think what I would say to you is that anything you dream that you can do, you can do. This year, I ended up getting a real board of directors on, because the first year it was just my friends. They're like, I don't know what I'm sitting on. Where's the wine? We were having wine and cheese, with our $10 budget. Nobody, we didn't know, and they said to me, you know, let's get this started and we'll figure it out. And it was great that now I had people knocking on my doors wanting to be on this board. And you know, they came in and we were interviewing each other. And because that's scary to me. This is my baby, and now I've got 9 people that are gonna run my baby for me. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of trying to handpick them and douse them with a lot of wine before I did. But, you know, we were interviewing each other, and they said to me, what is your 3-year plan? And they said, well, my 6-month plan is I want to open it up to men, and I'd like us to vote on that at the next meeting. And they said, you know what? We've seen the financials. Let's vote on it now. So this year, we opened it up to anyone that is a caregiver of children. So grandma, grandpa, stepdad, whoever has custody of the children, can be fed any type of cancer, any type of financial situation. You just have to undergo chemo, radiation, or surgery to qualify. And we are up to 278 people as of last Sunday. You know, we do it out of the house. We have 8 drivers, very casual, that roll right in every Monday morning. We take 2 trays of food to these men and women. My drivers are the unsung heroes behind the scenes, because what they do is they then say, you know what, Katie, they don't have a bed. And then we go buy them a bed. Or, you know, they don't have any food, but these 2 meals you're giving them. And then we make it bigger. And I know that I'm down to my last 10 minutes, but we have a video, I think, of what we have done so far that I'd like to show you.
And so then you came along, and I was okay, you know, like with you coming in and just, you know, chatting with you or that. And it's funny because, you know, you brought the food, and I was like, oh my God, this really is a blessing. You know, I don't have to, you know, all I got to do is take it out of the fridge and put it in the oven, or, you know, things like that. And but then the thing that that always gets me or sticks out for me too is it's not just the food that you do. It's the emotional support, checking in. You know, how are you? Just even a simple text, you know, phone call.
For Sparrow's Nest, honestly, I am 2 meals a week. I couldn't do takeout. I wasn't allowed in restaurants. I wasn't allowed takeout food. So I couldn't do it myself. So where does that leave you? You know, I'm either asking my children to do their own cooking, and they're suffering too, or I'm counting on other people. You know, and I didn't want to put people out. I had some people who were willing to help, but there's nothing like knowing every Monday that my doorbell was going to ring and I was going to get to awesome meals delivered to me. It was priceless.
As far as the day-to-day activities, everything is on me and the kids. And I think everybody can agree with me, I have teenagers. They're not jumping at the plate to do laundry and cook and clean and cut the grass, so a lot of it falls on me. And it's fine because I want them to have as much of a normal life as possible, and they've managed to do that so far. It's hard enough having their mother sick, but having the additional responsibility growing up as you're a kid, I just feel it's my job. Sparrow's Nest was a great big help because now that when I go to work, I'm getting home 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, taking care of whatever needs to be done, laundry and stuff, bouncing kids from dancing, soccer, there's just no time.
Huge difference. Like I said, that feeling of relief when you know, oh good, today I don't have to cook dinner. You know, it just is such a relief, and I take any relief I can find these days. So thank you.
Don't thank me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of when we to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. If you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you. And if you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we stand today. So, it's funny, people, my friends even, and people that I don't know say, wow, did you ever think that you'd be here? And I say, actually, no. I thought we'd be much further. We, are opening up chapters in New York City and Albany and Danbury, Connecticut here. And we promised that we will be in California next year so that they can help us peel potatoes. But the next goal is that we will be nationwide by 2017, and then maybe worldwide by 2020. So, I guess what I want to leave you with today is whatever your bigger game is, I hope you leave here, if you were teetering, I just hope you leave here wanting to play it. Because if you really, really want to do it, there is absolutely nothing that is standing in your way. That's it. That's what I got. Am I supposed to? No. Don't be sad.
No, I'm moved. They're moved too.
Okay. I'm staying here.
I'm going to train you. Training moment. Train and receive.
Thank you. So does anybody have any questions? I know I think I only have 5 minutes.
Yeah, we'll just have a moment. I just want to underline a couple of things. So many thoughts at once. You know that moment? What you represent for me as I was listening over there, I was just moved. There was tears happening all over the place because you are the quintessential example of, there's a spark in here. Should I follow that spark? And then you follow it. And I love the part where I don't love it that it happened, but that it actually went away and you actually failed. Mm-hmm. You were not a failure, but it failed. Mm-hmm. And out of those ashes, if you will, came the fire again.
Right.
And Laura Whitworth and I used to chat about one of the requirements of playing a bigger game. Some of the time, hear this loosely, not like always, but there's those moments where I want to quit.
Yeah.
And if quit isn't sort of in that territory at any moment, I'm not saying it needs to be, but it's a litmus test of, wow, this is bigger than I know how.
Sure.
It's I don't know if I can, but look, and the whole concept of bigger game is just dripping off of you. Look who you've become. Playing a bigger game will design who you want to become. You're on fire, you're passionate, you're compelled. And now what I love at the final moment was the clarity of 2017, 2020. Like, can you just feel there's like no option. That will be.
Oh,
right?
It will be.
Yeah,
it
right?
will be.
Right?
Yeah, and I think something else too, you were talking about negativity last night, and it's shocking to me that sometimes you're doing something amazing and there's these people. It's amazing.
You're crazy.
But really, right. And they're in your own life, and they may be close, and they may be, but I think you have to learn. You have to compartmentalize. You do. You have to put them to the side, and you have to surround yourself with positivity. You have to, or you won't survive. You have to.
Or Or they become the voice of "I'll show you."
Right.
That happens.
Right.
Too. So are there any thoughts or comments or questions? Just a moment. Yes, let's have a moment. Here comes a mic from Brandon right there. My nephew, by the way.
Hi there.
Another nephew.
Hi, nephew.
I'm just wondering, I know you do a lot of good fundraising, but do you have consistent corporate sponsors behind you? And
We do
how
now.
will the other chapters sustain themselves? in that
Yes,
respect?
we do now. We have about $200,000 in sponsorships that we get every year. We were the recipient of the Pandora, the jewelry, not the radio. I know some people get very excited about the radio. But last year, out of 8,000 people, there were 8 of us chosen to go to Los Angeles and to receive $25,000. So Pandora has now asked me to be on their board. So we will sustain that every year. We will be getting $25,000,
And
which is
you've been
amazing.
holding out on us? That's an amazing.
Which is amazing.
Right?
And I didn't say, because I forget, I'm nervous, but we were on Bethany Frankel's show. She really is a housewife, but she really is not as hot of a mess as she looks on TV. She's very nice, very skinny, but very sweet. And I think I can
So
say
much in
this.
there.
I didn't know if I should or shouldn't, but I received a call 2 weeks ago from Ellen DeGeneres' producer.
Right?
So
Right?
I don't know.
I know.
I don't know, but maybe, but I don't want to jinx it, but possibly.
I'm your new best friend. We're going together.
I know, you see?
Okay, back to you.
Yeah, go ahead. So, yes, so.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Of course you're going to be on Ellen.
Right, absolutely, positive
Right?
thinking.
Oh my God. Quintessential. You're going to be in the next book. You must be.
Okay.
Other comments or questions? We do not have to. Yeah, over here. Here comes the mic.
So how do you, do the recipients come from hospitals, or how does the word get out, or how do you choose, or
Well, when we first started, we knew that you had to prove, unfortunately, that you had cancer. So we had our own forms and everything. And then we got burned. We ended up having 3 instances that were scams, and they did not have cancer. So that also was part of that sinking,
Learning curve,
depression, I'm giving up. How in the world can I be doing so much good and I've just got taken advantage of? Like, it was the most awful feeling in the world. So then, I brought in lawyers, and what we did is we've designed now something that comes from the doctors that lets us know that they legitimately, as horrible as that is to say, are sick. We are so well known in our area that a lot of family and friends of those that are sick reach out to us. But we also have the social workers at our local hospitals and our oncology offices that when a patient is sick, immediately give out our information. And a lot of these recipients don't want to take it because there's always someone else that needs it more. So then we lie and we say, we have extra food this week, it's gonna go to waste, could we drop it at your door? Because then they go, oh man, then they feel bad. They're like, I have to take the food. So then we give them the food, and then they call and go, this is not ziti. Because I'm not making fun of anyone that makes ziti, but here's if you leave with anything today, don't make ziti for somebody that's sick. They're sick of it, because every good intentioned person makes them ziti because it's fast, it's easy, it's filling, it's cheap. So we don't repeat a recipe for a year. So they get 2, and they're fancy, and they're organic. We do as much organic as we can, but we're doing, chicken chimichangas with the, corn and avocado salad, so it's fancy. So, because we want them to know that there's love behind it too. So once they see, oh, this isn't a big old thing of ziti, nothing wrong with ziti. Then they're like,
There is.
ooh,
Can we
like,
just call it ziti's really
yeah, so once the
bad?
filet mignon comes in and potatoes, they're like, I might call you back. So, but they do have a process. It's very simple, because when you are that sick, we don't want to burden you. So your doctor sends us your information. You sign off that, once we hand you the food, you're responsible, and then you tell us a little about yourselves. We like to know financially, because if we need to do more for you behind the scenes, we're doing it. And we're just anonymously showing up with gifts and things so that we can help you sustain yourself.
Perfect. I think we need to, yeah.
I was nervous. I'm sorry. I didn't say a lot. Yes.
No, you're doing, oh my God.
Do I need to go? Am I being cut
No,
off?
no,
Okay,
no,
good.
not at all. I think there's something fun to play with, like, just say no to ziti,
Yeah.
right? Somehow in life, like somebody
Right.
says something, you go, no ziti for me.
Right.
Let's practice. Turn to your neighbor and say, no ziti for me. Ever again.
Yeah.
Just say no.
Because you could see how you could get sick of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final question. Yes, right here. This will be our last one.
Hi, thank you so much for sharing with us, Krista. I think because we have a captive audience here, can you speak to the fact that you have a bigger vision and there are 3 people over there? What was it like for them?
Should we ask them?
That's you. Well, you know, my assistant was supposed to come today, and she actually works for me now. She is my friend that had lymphoma. Knock on wood, she's doing well. It's only 2 of us in the office. So we couldn't have her come. So instead, I said, the girls are coming. And you know, their teachers were kind of giving a hard time. And I said, you know what? This is more educational sometimes than the Spanish and the biology and what they're getting today and last night, which, by the way, we have to talk because this one's going to do her own bullying thing because of you 2. She loved it. Is so important. But for them, and I can't speak for them, I can only speak as their mom, they have sacrificed so much because we, and I would never tell this to the recipients, but when we first started, we funded it. So they would go hungry. I mean, they really would have the peanut butter and jelly when someone else was having chicken franchise because, you know, it was just that important. You know, there weren't vacations. These first 3 years, there hasn't been any. So this is their vacation. Like, this is a fun thing for them. And, you know, they never complain. And for me, that's the way I want to raise them because so many kids think they're entitled. And I say to mine all the time, I don't care how much money you have, and I don't care your race or your religious background or your, you know, there's one thing you can't control, and it's your health. So if you're going to get sick, you're going to get sick, and nothing else matters. So I try very hard to show them that they can be a blip on the radar of life, because you only go around once, or they can be a star that shines and people see and makes a difference. And, you know, they have to do their part, and they will. They will. Do you girls want to say anything quickly? Nothing?
Are you
Nothing?
sure?
Come on, say a little
Oh,
something.
come on. Step out of your comfort zone.
Somebody
Just for a
say
second.
something.
No, okay.
This
A
one
moment.
wants to be in theater, so she needs to
Go
learn.
for it.
Do you want to say anything?
Hi.
Turn around and face the audience.
Okay. I don't know
Why don't you tell them, what do you do for sparrows? Talk to them. Stand up. Turn around. Sorry. Bad theater skills.
Well, we help make the desserts and deliver food and gifts to the families.
And they do, yeah.
Thank you for your part.
You do the back to school. Every child gets a backpack since if mom and dads are sick.
And then on Christmas, we give them a few gifts, the families, and then they give them to their kids on Christmas.
Or whatever they celebrate. So they're good kids. I don't know if
So, can I have you stand up one more second? And I'm going to bring you up here. Can you come up here 1 second? I'm going to really push the envelope. I can feel it. I just want to have a moment with you to notice. Can you be with me 1 second? Okay, great. So first of all, look out there. Right? Did you hear the moment when you said what you did? Did you hear the room what did the room do?
Wow.
Yeah, right. Just want to make sure you heard that. That's called impact. You just had an impact. And I want you to understand that. I'm doing my best to have a little training moment, but understand that's, I'm a leadership trainer, I can't help it. But I want you to have that moment because that's what it means to actually have a positive impact on one's life. Just by naming that moment. The room went, ah. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now you're going to tell them one more thing, and they're going to even do it a little bit more this time. And one more thing to tell them about what you're excited about with Sparrow's Nest?
I'm excited to take it over when I'm older.
You can't script that stuff, right? Oh my God.
Thank you.